Hey, what's going on, guys? My name's Chris, and today we're talking about action figure stands. More specifically, which are the best action figure stands. Now, in the action figure world, we all know that there's a wide variety of action figure stands. However, most of the offerings were kind of like this, where they were peg stands. So they were just these basic, stands with the foot peg in there, and it's been kind of a crapshoot. Either the foot peg fits or it doesn't, or the foot peg breaks, or more recently, figures like NECA, where I personally really love NECA figures, but I don't know what it is about their joints, but they get soft or they get weak over time. Even though I don't do anything, I pose them, I put them on the shelf, and then I leave them alone. And then I come in here every once in a while and
what the shit?
half the time just, happy that it's not broken this time. So that's something that I find to be like extremely frustrating and annoying, because these are NECA stands. Like, they make these, I buy these. They say NECA on the back. I put them on here and, they just don't work well. Like, these figures just lean over and do whatever that they want, which then brings in stands like this, where these are more for dolls than anything else. So you take these out, they're adjustable wires, you pinch them through, and they're okay. They're definitely not my favorite. They're semi-adjustable, but not anything crazy. And then came the era of these bad boys, and these I think are really great. However, bringing in NECA again, a figure this big, this does not fit. It does not fit at all. And so you got to be real creative at times. You got to grab their leg, you got to do something else, and honestly, it just doesn't look great. And again, most of the time it simply doesn't work, especially when they're kind of loose. Like, why is he loose? He came like this out of the box. You guys know this if you watch the video. So yeah, this has been my dilemma as an action figure collector since the beginning. I've been buying and collecting action figures since I was a little kid, and I've always loved displaying them on my shelves, especially once I get full sets and things like that. I remember my favorite as a kid displaying on a shelf was my original flip head Power Rangers, and even those things would fall over, which leads me to these guys right here. I found these guys on Instagram. They've been doing great things as far as Instagram marketing is concerned. Clearly they're hitting the audience, because I saw them and I was like, oh, that's pretty freaking awesome. Let me check them out. Are these the best action figure display stands so far that I've come across? I will say yes and no, because it really just depends on the type or style of action figure you're trying to display with something like this. Now, right back here behind me in the corner, or actually, I don't know where I'm pointing at now, let me look. So those guys right there, that is the X-Men training suits. And I mimicked the comic book cover, because what else are you gonna do when you get the entire set? You're gonna do just that. And I've had those things fall so many times, it's ridiculous. And those don't even get loose joints like a NECA figure does. Those are Hasbro's, and those usually are pretty solid, like overall, except Forge. That guy just doesn't want to stay in that position. I opened these guys up, I stuck his foot in there, he's not moved since. It's been amazing. Will it help with figures like this where they get the weak knees and stuff like that, or they just get like too comfortable in their pose and they're like, I need a nap right now? That's the part where I haven't fully dived into it. I'm going to be testing it. Maybe I'll give an update soon, but so far, these have been awesome. So these right here are the basic just hexagon stands. I've only pulled one out so far, but this is exactly how they came. So one was already wrapped in this plastic right here, and this is two, and this is essentially what they look like. So that's the foot peg right there. So essentially this is what you would do. You would wedge that foot right up in there, and then once it's there, it's not really going anywhere. So I like that. And then I stand him up, and I mean, he seems secure right now, although that's exactly what I thought with these guys too, and that didn't end up working out in my favor, so who knows. But as of now, he looks and feels like he's gonna stay there, which is what I want. Now, the reason why I said it kind of depends on the figure is because, again, I'm gonna bring Slash into this, but you can see his foot just don't wanna go in there, bro. I could stick maybe a toe, but it's not gonna be secure or anything like that. It just won't fit. So certain figures and certain characters, especially when we're talking about the NECA line, it's probably not going to work with these things. And they don't work with these things, which means that I bought this and I want to display it, and it ends up getting put inside of a bin, and I hate that. But for almost every other 6-inch figure, I think that this is really great. So this is kind of a larger 6-inch figure with a larger foot, especially when you're comparing them to something like a regular kind of styled 6-inch figure like the Foot Ninja. And this will fit in there, but not completely. However, it is enough to allow him to stand. So again, while they might not fit with every single figure, most 1/12 scale figures will work. So most kind of 6-inch styled of figures. I would like to see more of these, whatever those things, the foot clamps. I'd like to see more variation of these, just because there are variations of figures as far as like sizes and all of that kind of stuff is concerned. But yeah, as far as like overall quality, again, this is how they come. So everything is bagged up. There's 3, it looks like, per bag, at least with the ones that I bought. And then they also have these risers, which I thought were really interesting. And so I just had to try them. One of the cool things is that they're not very expensive. Like, they're not cheap either. It's not like these where I can get a bazillion of these things in a bag from like Temu or Amazon or whatever, and they're like $1 a piece, so it's not that cheap. But as far as like a premium style of display goes, it's pretty damn affordable. So yeah, this guy right here, like this is how they come, by the way. But it looks like they do the same thing. So they got their foot pegs or whatever in there. Oh, this is cool. So I guess if you wanted to have them in formation, that would be sick. Obviously, if you want to put this separately, you can do that as well. So if you wanted like this guy to be standing above whoever else is a little bit below him, feel free. But if you wanted a cool, you know, tiered look to your action figures, then you would use these risers to do that. And it looks like these just kind of like snap or slide right in there. So pretty secure. I like it, dude. I like it a lot. This is the top piece, by the way, so it's hollow underneath there. Where did I put the damn, did I already put it away? Son of a bitch. So yeah, if I'm gonna take this, and then I would put it right in there, and take my figure, and there he goes. So I think that that's pretty sweet, man. I like this a lot. So here's just a different configuration where you can now put this in here. You can have a base figure, can have a different posed tier figure, and then a top tier figure. And again, you can move this any which way. I think this is a really cool and unique design. Like, this is really smart, and I'm surprised that no toy company or toy accessory company has thought of this yet. So I really like this. And the fact that it's so compact like this, you can fit it on a shelf like the ones behind me. They're only so big, you know what I mean? And yeah, you can still have them all elevated and doing their like tier thing without things getting too cluttered in there. Like, they're essentially in this radius. It's awesome. That's the one major complaint that I have with these style of you know, display stands or whatever the heck you want to call these, is that when you start needing or requiring more than one together, like this becomes a mess, and it's all kinds of hectic. It's one thing if they're battling each other, because you could take this piece out right here, and then you can put one in that little peg and then the other in this one, and you know what I mean, like remove that and all that stuff. So they are customizable to a point, but it's not quite like this. What's cool is that it came with this, so I don't know if this is going to work for everyone, but feel free to use that code if you want to and you wanted to save a little bit of money on it. This is not a plug, by the way. I bought these myself. I'm just probably not going to buy any more of them until I absolutely need to, you know, because I'm not trying to buy in bulk with stuff like this, even though I probably should. I have enough figures to do so, but they're already up there, so I'm not going to sit here and just start swapping shit out. That would take me forever. So yeah, if you wanted to use that code, looks like it's just friends10. It'll save you 10% off of your order. Again, I don't know if it's a one-time use code. I assume it's not. It'd be expensive to print these things with a different code on every single one. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I think that these are dope. I think that this is something that, honestly, like, this is like a long time coming. And before we leave, I do want to just figure out like what figures are limited. So, you know, even though his foot is bigger, it still fits. So there's a good thing right there. This Venom figure's got even bigger foot, and I mean, you can squeeze it in there. So again, I think that that's a win. Something much smaller, like these 4 to 5 inch figures, they barely fit. Obviously, something like this is not going to work, even though maybe it could a little bit, like he's not falling or anything. But G.I. Joes, like these like 3/4 inch scales, they do have their own stands, despite most of them being loose and not coming with them anymore. So good luck finding those, but I'm sure that you can on Etsy, eBay, all that stuff. With 3D printing, it's not going to be too hard to find those nowadays. But yeah, it's not quite as universal with that 1/12 scale as I would like. But I do think that this is leaps and bounds better than most of the stuff on the market, especially these things. These foot peg things do not work. I don't know if this is patented or not, but if I was these guys, I would be making bigger versions of these already for those NECA style figures and larger figures in general, especially larger premium figures, because they usually come with their own little display stands that tend to look like this or a little bit scaled up. Right up there on the top shelf, I have my 3-0 Power Ranger set, and you know, they are on big versions of these, and again, they're for dolls. And then Hot Toys and certain other like large collectibles will come with the crotch grabber thing, and they just don't look cool. You can't pose them as cool, you know what I mean? Like when you have a foot stand like this, I really think that it's awesome. And if you can get something like this where it's tiered for those larger figures, bro, that would be sick. But yeah, so far so good. So far I think that this is probably the best action figure stand out there on the market. But that's pretty much it for today. Sorry for being kind of inactive on the channel. I'm really busy with the other channel, Wear Testers. So if you're into sneakers, go check it out. If you like my shirt, it's available right now. Although if you're seeing this later, they might not be available anymore. So yeah, they were for pre-order. Everybody that grabbed them, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I will catch you guys on the next video. So until then, stay nerdy, my friends, and I'll catch you next time.